Hello viewers and welcome to a new rebuild video. Now this rebuild video is going to be a little bit different because it's not going to be me that's going to be in control. No, what we've done is Sheffield Wednesday are a club at the moment who are in a massive mess, right? They're languishing in League One, they don't like their owner and they don't like the manager, and to be honest with you, I've watched the last couple of games, they've been absolutely dire. They've been thrashed 5-0 at Sunderland, they've just lost to Shrewsbury, right? Not good enough for a team that arguably could be a bottom half mid-table Premiership team at its peak. So what we've done, we've rolled it back to last summer. They've just been relegated to League One. The fans have taken over the club. They've managed to get Dave Chansiri out of the club. What they've done is they've appointed a chairperson. That chairperson just happens to be my good friend Nick. Nick has picked a manager. Now, the manager picked had to be a realistic candidate. And that realistic candidate was gauged by myself and Flanagan. This manager that has been chosen is Alex Neil, as you've probably guessed from the thumbnail. What we're going to do is we're going to lock him into a 5-year contract and see if he can turn Sheffield Wednesday from a languishing League One side to a Premiership side. But the club is fan-owned and cannot be taken over. Now, what club does not want to be fan-owned? Providing the morals and what the city stands for, or at least what half of the city stands for, and showing that on the pitch and reflecting that as a club. That's what a football club should be, and let's see if it can work. So here we are then. Alex Neil is in charge at Sheffield Wednesday. He's been handed a deal up until 2027. Alex Neil previously of Hamilton, Norwich and Preston. He's not done a bad job wherever he's been, so he's quite a safe pair of hands. And I know the Scottish League's basically quite low down in comparison, but managed Norwich in the Premiership and in the Championship, and Preston in the Championship. He's took a step down really to go into League One, but size of the club wise, Sheffield Wednesday do and are probably a bigger club than Preston and probably Norwich as well. So really, if you can get this club going, it's certainly a club that you should be looking at, and you'll be very well respected by the supporters. If we just have a look. Key players, Barry Bannon. If you've ever watched Sheffield Wednesday on Sky Sports, that's all they go on about, so he might as well be the only player on pitch. Sam Hutchinson, been about a bit, but very much struggled with injuries. Left for Cyprus, came back to Sheffield Wednesday. Dominic Iorfa, very good player, centre-half. And really, they've got a decent squad for this league. A bit unbalanced, you could say. They've got Che Dunkley and Palmer. But as we say, Alex Neil's now been given the reins for 5 years. He's going to mould this squad. He's going to change this squad. And I mean, these players like Saido Berrino who joined in the summer, weird signings. Let's see what Alex Neil can do with this. The League One season is about to kick off, so we'll come back at the end of the first season and see what's happened. Right then, so end of the season. Let's see how Alex Neil got on in his first season in charge with Sheffield Wednesday. So, third in League One, we can see straight away. And Sheffield Wednesday were promoted through the playoffs, I believe. If we go to the final, they did. They won the playoffs after finishing third in the league. So let's have a look how it finished up. They missed out on second place by 1 point to finish third, and then managed to win through the playoffs. They beat, who did they beat? They beat MK Dons 2-1 over 2 legs in the semi-final before getting to the final and beating Ipswich 3-1. If we load the match report up, let's have a look who played for Sheffield Wednesday. So it looks like he's been playing a 4-2-3-1. Luongo had a nightmare. And I can't see a Barry Bannon. Oh, he came on. Barry Bannon come on and scored. So it was Patterson, Iorfa and Barry Bannon that won it. Jack Hunt got sent off in the 71st minute. So, successful first season. Let's just have a quick look at how the other competitions went on. So, knocked out in the Northern Section second round by Bolton in the Pizza Trophy, which I'm sure they weren't that fussed about. The FA Cup, they had a decent run in the FA Cup. Knocked out by Liverpool in the 5th round. Knocked out in the 4th round by Arsenal. If we have a quick look at the top scorer, so league regular 11 goals in the league for them. Barry Bannon was the highest average rating, that's why they talk about him so much on Sky Sports. And Alex Neil actually managed to get a tune out of Lewis Wing who I know is not one of the most popular players at the club at the moment in real life. 14 assists for Lewis Wing. I mean, that's some return for the lad. You can't go wrong with that. So, predicted to finish fourth, finished third, went up through the playoffs. Sheffield Wednesday are now a championship club. What we'll do now is we'll fast forward to the start of next season, have a look what Alex Neil did in the transfer window before they get ready for the return to the championship. We've gone a bit further than we said we were going to do, because what we're going to do is we're going to go to the end of the summer transfer window each time. That allows us to have a look at the full business that Sheffield Wednesday's done in that summer, and also gives a little sneak preview into how the season's going to pan out. Firstly, outgoings, let's have a look. So, £8,000 recouped, not a lot at all. Jay Dunkley's gone out on a free to Coventry, Joe Wildsmith's left for San Jose. A couple of young lads have gone out to Solihull Moors and Leyton Orient on loan respectively. They have got a little bit of a loan fee as well, so you know, every little helps, especially if you work at Tesco. And Camille McCaig, obviously deemed not good enough, has been shipped out to Stevenage. Very determined young striker, but obviously not good enough to play for a massive club like Sheffield Wednesday. So, on to the incomings now. This is going to be interesting because they're coming up from League One, you know, coming up from the pub league. It might be a little bit more difficult for them. So, what have they done? They've brought in Matt Boylan. Brought this young man in. He's 18 years old, goalkeeper. So, young goalkeeper of the future. Brandon Cover. Again, 18-year-old, central midfielder, fair enough. Jamie Lindsay. Now, this guy looks like he's going to be more in the first team. A central midfielder, 27 years of age. He's coming on a free transfer previously. Where's he coming from? Let's have a look. He was previously at Where's he been? At Rotherham. So he's just nipped down part way for him. Tom Kearney from Fulham, attacking midfielder, we know very well. Very good player at this level. 4.5 million rated. Got him in on loan. That's an impressive signing for them. Cardozo from West Ham United, centre half. Be looking forward to seeing him. 21 years of age. 6'1", decent looking centre half. Can't go wrong with that. That's a decent signing. Manchester United loanee is next up. Left back Alvaro Fernandez. Again, young player in on loan, value between 12 and 36 million. So they've done very well to get him in on loan from Manchester United. And a very strong left foot. That's an interesting signing indeed. Christian Hege. Or Hegye. I'm not going to pronounce that ever right, am I? Goalkeeper, young goalkeeper. Obviously, Joe Wildsmith's gone out, so I'm assuming they've brought a couple of young lads in. He's one of the two that they have. Jordan Thompson's coming on loan from Stoke City, another central midfielder. They look like they've bolstered that. And of course, Lewis Wing, I imagine, will have gone back to Middlesbrough after his loan spell. So, bolstering the midfield options can't be a bad thing. Cody Dramé. A right back this time on loan from Leeds. He's been very busy in the loan market, not spent a lot of money, but brought in good players on loans. Can't go wrong with him, looks a decent enough right back. And Indiana Vasilev. Indiana, what a name. This guy's come in, centre forward, again, young, 21 years of age, on loan. Can't go wrong, really, that's not bad business. And the not bad business certainly seems to be doing its thing, because as we look at the competition, Sheffield Wednesday are currently sitting third after 7 games in the Championship. Goals look like they've been spread around, as Tom Kearney's the top scorer with 2 goals. And also the most assists. So Tom Kearney is looking an inspired signing at this moment in time. But they've already beaten what they beat. QPR, Birmingham, Sunderland, obviously come up from League One with them. Blackpool and Bournemouth. So drawn away at Brentford, and they've only lost 1 game, and that were away at Reading 1-0. So can't go wrong with that so far. They've already been knocked out of the Carabao Cup, which is fair enough. But very, very solid start. So let's get to the end of Season 2 now and see what Alex Neil managed to do in Season 2 as Sheffield Wednesday manager. Right then, so end of Season 2. Let's have a look what Alex Neil managed to do. Still the manager of Sheffield Wednesday. I'm nervous for this because I've got a funny feeling after that good start. But it might have just been momentum. You never know. Competitions, senior squad. Whew, right. So, finished 16th after that cracking start that they had. We obviously know they got knocked out of the Carabao Cup. They got to the 4th round of the FA Cup, again knocked out by Premier League opposition in West Ham United. Where did it all go so wrong? I mean, first 7 games, they were absolutely flying. And then just started to struggle a little bit. Ridiculous, really. I mean, they were safely mid-table. Safely mid-table. Can't go wrong there at all. Top goal scorer into Tom Kearney. Highest average rating, Jordan Thompson. Let's have a look at the squad. Let's see. 4-2-3-1 he kept with that. Tom Kearney. Let's have a look at goals. So yeah, Tom Kearney and Callum Patterson shared them out with 11 goals apiece. They do look like they are missing a striker. That is something that you would say. And then you're looking at, I mean, after Josh Windass on 5, I mean, it's very spread out. Not that impressive of a season, it must be said. He looked like he had a pretty settled starting 11. Players like Marvin Johnson still getting a good run in the team. And at this level, sadly, I don't think are quite up to the standard required. But lower mid-championship players maybe get away with him. So, not the best of seasons, but a solid season for the first one back in the championship. What we'll do now again is fast forward to the end of the transfer window and see how he starts and how he's moulded the squad to start season 3. End of the transfer window. I think you were plain to see that they did need some help because they were struggling in what they were doing. And transfers are going to be a big part of that. So what has Alex Neil done in this summer? And straight away you can see that Jamie Lindsay, a man that he brought in, he's shipped straight back out to north of the border, back up to Scotland. Jamie Lindsay's on his way out. Matt Boylan, another player that he brought in, I believe, he's gone straight back out. George Byers, 27-year-old, he's obviously not made the cut. He's gone to Queen's Park. Selling a lot of players to Scotland and Ireland. Sam Hutchinson has gone to a club I've never heard of. Where are they? Where on earth are they? Nowhere. Oh, fair enough. So Sam Hutchinson's off to nowhere. And Jaden Brown has gone to Hull on a free. Now, that's the outgoings. They've recouped, again, no money recouped. Not any significant money coming into the club, which I suppose is hard when you've not got very many valuable assets. But they have spent a little bit of money, 725,000 to be exact, and some pretty decent signings. Sean Mcguire's coming from Preston, decent championship player, been knocking around there for a while. Obviously Alex Neil will have known him from his time at Preston. So he's coming on a free transfer. Luke Badley Morgan. He's coming as a young lad, 19-year-old from Chelsea. Fair enough. Lewis Wing. Now, Lewis Wing were a key part of the League One promotion campaign for Sheffield Wednesday on this. That could be a good signing for him. Obviously, Alex Neil feels he can get the best out of him. 425,000. I bet that went through the chairperson to sanction that one. Right. Moving on though, Ethan Galbraith, 22-year-old. Again, not a bad signing. Not too much to shout about, but again, young player, central midfielder. Lewis Binks, centre half. Again, young player. So they are focusing on bringing young players in. Izzy Brown, oh my word, how's he managed to get back to Hillsborough? Put in one of the worst corners I've ever seen, in which Rotherham broke up the other end and scored from. I was jumping around my front room. I'm amazed he's gone by. Dear oh dear, that's not too impressed with that. Anyway, but more, let's have a look at the loans. Cedric, very experienced right back, Portuguese lad. He's going to come in. That's not a bad signing. What we got him on loan from Wolves. Kjell Scherpen. That's pronunciation for you, isn't it? Dutch lad, 23-year-old, goalkeeper, jumping reach 20, 6'8". I appreciate that signing. I like that a lot. Aerial reach 70. I love that signing. Perfectionist on loan from Brighton. What a player he is. Have a look at him in your saves. I'd be interested to know if anybody's used him. I'm very impressed with him. soon as somebody's above 6'4", I get excited. Micah Hamilton is coming from Manchester City, young 19-year-old left winger. Again, not a bad looking player. They seem to do well in the loan market. And they've got Alfie Garrington, who is another centre-half, 6-foot centre-half. Good young player, 18 years of age. Not signings that you would, especially if they were going to take them to that next level, but I'd say a slight improvement on what they'd already got at the club. If we have a look at the competitions, we can see from the top of the screen it's not been the best start. 17th in the Championship, they're still lacking. They are still lacking that striker. And after 3 games, they've beat Sheffield United, which is shocking. Just a quick look at who's managing Sheffield United now. Ralph Hasenhüttl. Oh dear. Right. To be fair, I don't mind Ralph Hasenhüttl. He's got lovely waistcoats, but they beat Sheffield United, which is good for them. And then lost their other 2 games away at Sunderland and away at Stoke without scoring. Goal scoring is a problem. They've already been knocked out of the Carabao Cup by Barnsley. This could be a very tough season for Alex Neil. Let's see how he gets on in season 3 at Sheffield Wednesday. So then, end of season 3. Let's have a look again how it's gone now. I'm not expecting a great season from him, unless they might have done a bit in January, to be fair. He's still the manager of Sheffield Wednesday. To be fair, as a manager as well, Alex Neil is definitely improving. We can see this from his stats. He's been here nearly 3 years now, so let's see at how Sheffield Wednesday have gone on, and it's not looking like a particularly promising season. We find them not in that half of the table. We find them in 18th. It's not progression, is it? 54 points. They were comfortably above the relegation zone, 12 points above that. Again, it seems as though, minus 12 goal difference, and we look at this Sean Mcguire and 11 goals. It seems as though scoring goals has been the issue for them. Let's have a look. Sean Mcguire were top again on 12 goals. The next closest was Callum Patterson, and then Izzy Brown. It's not really working for him, is it? If I'm honest. You look at that there. He's been playing a team there. What? 5 loanees? Basically, his back 4 and his goalkeeper, all loan players. He's probably up front. He's finally seen sense and listed Marvin Johnson. Did Lewis Wing get many games? He did. He got 26 games, only 2 assists and 1 goal. It's not quite working, is it? The other thing to look at is the finances as well. If we have a look at the finances are okay. The owner's happy. They've become a lower mid-table Championship side, and to be fair, did they bring in any more on the transfer history? Brought in a couple more players in on loan, but nothing of any note. Difficult season. I think now really is the time for them. They've not really spent any money. We've seen that. Again, they keep having these nice little FA Cup runs though. They got to the 5th round and got knocked out by Arsenal. So all in all, they're a lower Championship club having a decent cup run most seasons. Which, would the fans take that? I would expect now after 2 seasons back in the Championship, they'll hopefully kick on. So what we'll do again, we'll get to the end of the transfer window and hopefully they'll start the next season a little bit better. But they're still predicted to finish 20th. They're not improving the squad. And a goal scorer really is necessary at this moment in time. Let's see what Alex Neil and the club bring in this summer. End of the transfer window. And as we can see, in fairness to them, in January of last season, they got rid of Josh Windass and Jack Hunt. Josh Windass were on loan, and Jack Hunt, they recouped $33,000 for him. Fast forward to this season, they've let just 1 player go in, John Guthrie, who was a 32-year-old centre-half? So 6 foot 4. He weren't a bad centre-half, in fairness. And in a position where they were playing loads of loan players, maybe worth keeping, but at that age, you would expect them to probably look into the future. But they have had a busy transfer window, but again, spent hardly anything, $500,000. we'll knock through these pretty quickly. Franco Milas, 19-year-old midfielder brought in. Bradley Dack, 30 years old, obviously had his injury problems, but another number 10. If they can keep him fit, could be a good player. Lewis Montsmart, he's 26-year-old centre-half, like that signing a lot, 6'3". Ahmed Kone, brought another goalkeeper in, I assume to replace the lone goalkeeper that they had that I particularly liked. Joe Lolle has come in from Nottingham Forest at 32 years of age as a right winger. Gabriel Tejane, 18-year-old Nigerian lad, defender, centre-half, again probably one more for the future. Josh Lane, 20-year-old goalkeeper, again one for the future. Niels Nkunu, 23-year-old left back, 5'11", attributes okay, looks like an attacking fullback really, so could be okay. Lamare Bagade, centre half, 6'1", 20-year-old Dutch. They seem to have a philosophy since these fans have took over of going for young players. And this lad here, get a centre forward. Now this is a player that they've been crying out for, a decent centre forward. Plenty of flair, plenty of vision. Not the greatest finisher. 5'9", striker, plays 1-2s. Could be a decent signing for him. We'll have to see. And I believe he's in on loan from Watford. So again, plenty to look at. Again, it doesn't look like it's been the best start in the Championship for him. Played 5 games, just won 1 away at Bristol City. Drawn at home to Sheffield United, 0-0. Could be another tough season, but let's see how season 4 works out. Going to be a tough one. Season 4 completed. Now, simulation-wise, this is going to be interesting because I feel this was a pivotal season for Sheffield Wednesday. They got promoted first season, Alex Neil, superb job. Second and third season, cemented the sense in the Championship. He just signed a striker, so let's hope that he has managed to at least improve the league position. They've had a couple of good cup runs. Let's see what's happened. So, as always, we'll have a look for Alex Neil, who's at Coventry. So, something's happened. Something has happened. Let's have a look at his history. Let's have a look at his history. What's happened to him? In fact, let's go to Sheffield Wednesday. Something's happened. Why is Alex Neil at Coventry? 21st in the Sky Bet Championship seems to suggest that something went wrong. And our chairperson, Nick, has pulled the trigger. He was sacked. He was sacked in November. At the end of November, he was sacked. After 3 years and 152 days. The man to take over, it looks like Quinton Fortune's been in charge. Interim charge. And then Nigel Pearson, the ex-Sheffield Wednesday man, is now in charge of Sheffield Wednesday and will be in charge for the final season of this simulation. What went wrong? What went wrong? I mean, they still haven't got a striker. They've stayed in the Championship by 2 points. Bradley Dyke, top scorer on 9. I mean, there must have been some real issues. I mean, let's just have a look at the cup competitions. 5th round by Peterborough this time, and the Carabao Cup by West Brom and Albion. What went wrong? I mean, if we go up, let's have a look. November, his final game was a 2-0 defeat at home to Ipswich with 22,000 there. It seems like the fans were already starting to get a bit disgruntled. I mean, they didn't win any of the first sort of 5 or 6 games. They had to wait till end of August to get a win away at Bristol City. And I think it's probably just come to an end. I imagine the crowd were very upset as Evan Ferguson scored his second at Hillsborough. And that caused them to pull the trigger. So this creates an interesting dynamic now. Nigel Pearson, for the final season, is going to try and take Sheffield Wednesday higher up. And hopefully, let's see if they can get him into the playoffs. I've always personally thought Nigel Pearson is the ultimate Sheffield Wednesday manager. So, I'm actually thinking this could work now. Let's see what he does with the squad. The squad, again, Goals is a massive issue. We can see that. Top goal scorer on 10 were Bradley Dack, Sean Mcguire. It's not worked. Callum Patterson's still at the club 4 seasons later. There's got to be a change in emphasis here. Maybe Nick, the chairperson, has finally pulled the trigger and thought, right, we need to get somebody in who knows the club. Nigel Pearson certainly knows this football club. Let's have a look what he does on the transfers. Nigel Pearson's transfers. Here they are for the final season of our simulation. I mean, let's have a look at if they got rid of anybody else. I mean, they didn't really, did they? They've not recouped a lot of money. They've not spent a lot of money. It must be said, they did bring in, I mean, what have they brought in there? Ross Stewart, a goalkeeper. They love buying goalkeepers. Marcus Bettinelli, they love buying goalkeepers. And Jeremy Ngakia, who is a right back. So they've brought in, they spent a bit of money there. 2.1 million last season they spent. So that's something. That really is something for them. They've not spent a lot of money, like we said. And moving into this, again, not a hell of a lot of money. They've brought in Ryan Longman on a free. What's he do? He's a left winger. They've brought in Marcel Halstenberg, a German 33-year-old centre half. Ryan Leonard. Oh my word! Ryan Leonard's coming. Another 33-year-old central midfielder. To be fair, Miles Peter Harris is 22 years old, so they've brought the usual a bit. And Luke Matheson, 22 years old. They've brought in a lot of young players we've seen during this simulation, so maybe a couple of old heads in there might just do them a bit of, might just benefit them somewhat. Ryan Galvin's gone out to Port Vale on loan, nothing really there. Marcelo Pitaluga, he's gone out on a free transfer, I believe. And Fisayo Deli Bashiru, he's finally left the club for a grand total of 170,000, right into 210, and he has gone to Huddersfield. But you'll notice in the top left-hand corner that 11th in the Championship. So far, it's been a better start for Sheffield Wednesday. 4 games played, 2 games won. They've won away at Watford as well, drawn at home to Forest Green. And then lost at home to Swansea. So, initially you would say that there's been some improvement from Nigel Pearson, Sheffield Wednesday. He's stuck with the 4-2-3-1. Lewis Wing's still playing in midfield. Callum Patterson, I cannot believe, if you said to a Sheffield Wednesday fan now, Callum Patterson would still be playing at your club 5 seasons later as a striker in the Championship, don't think they'd be too impressed. I wonder, could they? Could they do it this season? Let's find out. This is it then. Nigel Pearson had 1 final season in charge of Sheffield Wednesday. The final season of the simulation. He's been sacked. What on earth is our chairperson doing? What on earth is he doing? What is happening at Sheffield Wednesday? Sheffield Wednesday. Oh, that's the wrong club. Not them. God, they're a far superior club. Struggled again. I mean, they've now got Ronald Koeman in charge. So, if we have a look at the managers, Nigel Pearson got sacked on the 11th of January. Marcus Bettinelli then took over. Weren't Marcus Bettinelli their goalkeeper? Okay. As a caretaker manager, fair enough. Questionable decision, but I assume until they got somebody in. And then Ronald Koeman came in for the second half of the season. So what on earth happened? Well, let's look at competitions. So they got knocked out in the 3rd round by Manchester United. Throughout this whole simulation, they've had good cup runs, or at least had good cup draws. Man United, Arsenal, West Ham, they've had a few Premier League draws. They got knocked out in the 1st round of the Carabao Cup by Sunderland. Fair enough. Now, I mean, what's happened here again? They've stayed up, but they haven't got a goal scorer. Lewis Wing's got 10 assists, and Callum Patterson's the top goal scorer on 11 goals. That is where the issue lies. And it's not being rectified by any manager that's come in. What I'm going to do is, I think, do we call that a success? I don't think we do. I think all that we've managed to do in these 5 years is Alex Neil's got them to be a championship club, a lower mid-table championship club that flirts with relegation now and again. Ronald Koeman's now come in. Does that benefit him? Will he try and take him the next step? Maybe he'll take him another 5 or 10 years. Who knows? But all in all, they've got out of League One, and in fairness to them, in terms of the finances, that's the one thing that I would say during this whole simulation. They started off insecure at the start of the game. They've become okay, and the finances are now secure. They're now in a position where they've hired Ronald Koeman. Possibly now is the time to kick on. I know we've said that for the last couple of years, but I think now is possibly the time, secure finances, to take them to that next step. So, Sheffield Wednesday fans, I hope you've enjoyed that, and any other viewers, I hope you've enjoyed watching that. Something a little bit different. If you'd like to see your club turn into a fan-owned club and think you can do it better than your owners and appoint a manager of your choice that's got to be reasonable, then by all means leave it in the comments, let us know. See if you think that you would have done it differently. Would you have got a different manager in for Sheffield Wednesday? Let us know down in the comments, like and subscribe and all that jazz. Thank you so much for watching, and goodbye.